Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Tuesday, March 31st. Ian Cameron, Matt Robinson in the house. Alex, day-to-day with foot soreness. So should be back tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of the show. But looking forward to this Tuesday slate. It's another big night of action, big games, big consequences across the league tonight. Playoff implications galore in the 10 games taking place here tonight on this Tuesday NHL slate. So we'll get to those in just a moment. We'll fly through the recap just quickly on last night. Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders, scoreless first period, although the pace in the first period was pretty strong. I mean, it was going back and forth, but we just didn't have the goals in the first period. So I know there are probably some people that maybe panicked after the first period with the over, which was my best bet on the show yesterday, saying, we might be in trouble here. I wasn't. I thought that pace was very brisk in the first period, and there were chances. Both teams could have found the back of the net at least once or twice. And sure enough, the goals that maybe could have gone in the first period that didn't, holy shit, did they go in the second period? My goodness, it just exploded from that point onward. Tons of goals. The Islanders jump out 2-0. Pittsburgh cuts it to 2-1. Islanders get the 3-1 lead, and after that, it was just an absolute onslaught from the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, the defending that I saw, first of all, when they were down 3-1, I was saying this is the kind of defending on Twitter that Pittsburgh's not going to get past the first round with in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then minutes later, when they tied the game and then take the lead, I'm saying, well, at least they got a great offense to bail them out with their defense and their goaltending and the issues they have with both of those. And boy, did it ever. 3-1 turns into 5-3 before the end of the second period for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they end up rolling 7 unanswered goals on the board after being down 3-1 and turning it into an 8-3 romp over the New York Islanders last night. So easy best bet winner, even though it started slowly. Easy best bet winner with the over there, Penguins and Islanders. Rough night for Ilya Sorokin, but gosh, he was abandoned. You see some of these goals that were scored, the Mantha goals, Raquel, just bad coverage in front of the net. Just loose defensively for a lot of those Pittsburgh goals, breakdowns in coverage. And I would say that about some of the goals the Islanders scored early for the Pittsburgh, but they eventually tightened it up. And what a win for the Penguins, 8-3, costly loss for the Islanders because Pittsburgh leapfrogs them in the Metro Division. And now the Islanders still, not much ahead of the pack of Ottawa, Columbus, Philly, all those teams that are right behind them in the wild card race. But crazy game there, 8-3 win for the Penguins. Colorado beats Calgary like a drum, 5-0 after the first, and they roll to a 9-2 victory over the Calgary Flames. Calgary, great homestand, but they walked into a focused Colorado team probably after losing against Winnipeg Saturday night, and the Avalanche really put it to the Calgary Flames there, 9-2. And Nazem Kadri, traded from Calgary to Colorado at the deadline, ends up getting a pair of goals for the Avalanche in that victory. Toronto and Anaheim, 5-4 win for the Leafs in overtime over the Ducks. We did have, what's great about that game, Matt, is I had Ducks team total over 3.5, and they lose the game, and I still win. So that's the great beauty of the team total. Don't have to win the game to cash your ticket. And that was the case there with that. Salute to Radko Gudas, paid his comeuppance, if you will, for the hit and the knee-on knee hit on Austin Matthews that took out the Leaf captain. He answered the bell, even though he easily couldn't have played because of the injury he's dealing with. And Max Domi was the guy tabbed to fight Radko Gudas. And what a job Max Domi did. Holy shit, a little undersized, obviously, when you fight a guy like Radko Gudas. You wouldn't know it. He won that fight clearly, decisively. Great job by him. You can clearly see that chip off the old block. Doesn't mind dropping the gloves. Pops did it a ton in his career, but nice to see that. Leafs handled it the right way. No issue there. And you could tell they wanted to win that game. This is the team that had the player on it that took the captain out. And Toronto kind of played with that inspiration, that passion, that energy, that spirit last night, coming back from 3-1 down, and they end up winning 5-4 in overtime. It's a pretty bad loss for Anaheim, but I'll tell you what, Anaheim, there's bad news on their injury front there. Cutter Gauthier leaving that game due to injury, and it looked like Leo Carlsson had suffered a serious injury in the third period as well, but he came back. That's a big relief, but we'll have to see what's the status of Cutter Gauthier for the Anaheim Ducks moving forward. But unfortunate loss to not be able to hold that lead for the Ducks. They lose 5-4 in overtime, but credit the Leafs. They showed up last night. They wanted that one. I probably think they're a good fade in the next game, though, Toronto, when they head to San Jose. They had all that energy and all that, they had that fire in their belly last night. I'm not so sure they're going to have that same fire in their belly Thursday night when they play in San Jose. The Leafs have been pretty good at, they show up for one night and then they absolutely shit the bed and don't show up the next game. Maybe that's going to happen to them Thursday night against San Jose. Speaking of San Jose, great win for them. And all of a sudden the Sharks, I'll be honest, I'll raise my hand. I left the Sharks for dead. I thought they were falling out of it. And now here they are. They've won a few in a row, and Nashville's starting to spit the bit. They've lost a few in a row. And now with the San Jose Sharks win last night, they are 2 points back of Nashville with 2 games in hand, by the way, on Nashville for the second and final wild card spot in the West. Great win for them. Unbelievable performance last night by Celebrini. He was tremendous. He had a couple of goals in that game. It was a back and forth. Definitely more higher scoring than I thought. St. Louis has been playing low and slow, good defensively. Not last night. It ends up 4-4 in the third. Blues tie it after being down 4-2. They have the momentum. We think and we all love this draw. This is as vicious and as horrendous a beat on a draw as you'll ever see because it's 4-4 in the final minute. And there's Adam Gaudette coming down the wing, and it's an absolutely horrendous goal for Joel Hofer to give up. And he's been so good lately for the St. Louis Blues. Not last night, and especially not on that game-winning goal. That's a Dairy Queen softie given up by Joel Hofer just to stick a knife in our back. All the whole community here that pretty much like that draw in the game last night. Horrible beat. And San Jose in regulation with 22 seconds left. Adam Gaudette wins it for the Sharks. And they get a 5-4 victory over the Blues. We've had a couple of rough beats with draws where it's just the last minute, the last 30 seconds, we're getting that game-winning goal to cost us, a nice chunk of change, obviously, when you're talking about how nice these draw prices are. And then the final game of the night, 4-2 Vegas. They win in John Tortorella's debut. This game frustrated me. I mean, I was more heavy on the first period with Vegas, and of course they get shut out in the first period, so this was just a very aggravating result. I did hit a live team total over in the second period on Vegas, and the full game. I bet a live full game over 3.5 team total. I pushed the pregame over 4. I did have some alts, 4.5, 5.5. Those fell short, but they just took a period to get going. And John Tortorella said it in the postgame. We were making too many D-to-D passes. We're going sideways. We weren't playing a north-south game in the first period. We looked a little timid early, and he said it was really the second period where they got going. I can't say it was an impressive game because you're playing a pathetic team, the Vancouver Canucks, but Vegas did what they had to do, and they win the debut of John Tortorella 4-2 last night over the Vancouver Canucks. Still, there's a lot of room for improvement. I don't think that was I was watching that game. That was not a game where you say, whoa, Vegas really looks like a different, much better team now. First game under John Tortorella. No, I thought the first period they weren't that good. It really took until the second to get going. Matt, thoughts on Monday night?
Yeah, don't have too much to add. Obviously, some wild scores in the Pittsburgh Islanders game and that Colorado Calgary game. Pretty lopsided, pretty high scoring for this time of year, but you do get that because you get teams kind of going different directions. So not uncommon. I was kind of surprised. Vancouver was up in that game. You figure with the coach bump, Vegas would come out and kind of roll that game. I know they won 4-2. Not a big sweat at the end, but to a very, very out of it Vancouver team, you'd expect a little more from Vegas, but they do get back in the win column. It's getting interesting. I said it about a month ago. Maybe they're going to miss the playoffs. They kept losing. Thankfully for them, there are other teams also struggling in that lower portion of this the West and especially in the Pacific. So they're still currently in a spot, but they've got to continue to win to get there. And I did tune into a little bit of the Ducks Toronto game. obviously with the implications going into it. Good for Gudas playing despite the injury. I mean, he didn't even throw a punch. He was just answering the bell. I think, if he wanted to, he probably wins that fight. I thought it'd be funny if they threw him out in overtime and he scores the game-winning goal or something. That would have been a storybook ending after 9 penalty minutes, getting jumped like 3 different times, all the stuff that happened. And then he goes down on it, takes a slap shot from the top of the circle and scores. That would have been epic. But good for the Leafs to get the win. I agree with you. I'd fade them. After that, I think they're kind of checked out. It's tough when you're in a big market like that and you're out of the playoffs. So I think they'll kind of coast through some games, but obviously had some reason to get up for yesterday's game. And then, yeah, good for San Jose. That was obviously a game I didn't watch, but I kind of was checking in on just, two teams kind of trying to stay relevant in the mix. And obviously, the missed draw is a bummer. But, yeah, if I'm looking at it, I mean, I'm guessing that the Knights and Canucks were on over 6 or over 6.5, but other 4 games soared over the over. So good time to bet for goals. So hopefully we get a similar result tonight. I like a fair amount of overs, a couple draws, a couple passes for tonight. So looking forward to getting into tonight's card.
Absolutely. It's a huge Tuesday card. Like I said, looking forward to it. Like I said, that draw still stings after seeing how it unfolded with Sharks and Blues. That you have to remember, though, while as painful as it was to lose the draw in the last 30 seconds with San Jose St. Louis, we did win one in a similar fashion with Boston and Columbus on Sunday. So it's like, Lord Gambler giveth, Lord Gambler taketh away. We always say that. Sometimes you're going to get one, be on the good side of it, and sometimes you're going to be on the rotten side of it when it comes to those late game heroics, especially when you're betting draws. But on to Tuesday. Oh, my goodness. Look at this comment. Always thoroughly impressed by Ian Cameron. So good at what he does. Oh, you're the first person. You're probably the only one with that kind of a praise for me, but I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. And like I said, we put in a lot of work, prep to give you as much in-depth analysis as we can on every game on the board every single day, sides, totals, player props. So appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for the kind words. With that in mind, great segue with Matt on the show, because we're going to begin with his team. The Dallas Stars taking on the Boston Bruins. We've got Dallas minus 130 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Stars off that 2-1 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers on Sunday night. Trevor Zegras with the overtime winner. We mentioned it on Sunday, Matt. You got to pick your spots at this time of year if you're going to bet on Dallas. Because to me, it's just play out the string. It's not be-all, end-all. It's not balls-to-the-wall hockey for this team for the rest of the regular season, because they're not catching Colorado. They're probably not going to get caught from behind by Minnesota. They're pretty much, in this second in the Central, and they know it. So you're not going to get this team with that utmost, got to have this one type of, urgency every night. So you've really got to pick your spots and say, is this a night Dallas really, really cares, is emotionally, mentally invested in the game, or not so much? I will say this about Dallas tonight. They've played Boston well. Very well, in fact. They've won 3 straight meetings head-to-head over the Boston Bruins. We'll see if that continues. And big scores, too, 5-2, 7-2, 6-2 for the last 3 meetings between them, all since the beginning of last season. So the Stars have definitely played the Bruins well. Can that continue here? Boston, an incredibly gutsy, hard-fought, resilient effort to come back from 3-0 down and beat Columbus 4-3 in a shootout on Sunday, to put them in a spot now where Boston, they've still got work to do, 92 points, but now they've put themselves in a position where they're 6 points clear right now of the three teams that are the last teams out of the wild card right now, that being Ottawa, Detroit, Philly at 86 points. So Boston's 6 points up on those teams. So they've got a little wiggle room now, where if they lose a game or two, it's not the end of the world. That being said, you don't want to rest on your laurels. You want to keep the pedal to the metal. Still want to keep winning right now if you're Boston. I'm on Boston here for a small bet, plus 110. I just feel that the home ice, they've been so amazing at TD Garden this year, that it's good value with the Bruins at plus 110. I was very impressed with that character comeback win against Columbus on Sunday. I'm maybe a little concerned. There's a little bit of an emotional letdown. That was a game with a couple of big-time fights, too. Good Branson and Jeannot. And we also saw the big scrap with Olivier and Kastelik right after that. So I'm a little bit worried about maybe a little bit of a come down from that game for Boston. But, we are talking about one of the best home teams in the NHL this year, 27-10-1, and they're a home dog against a team that I'm not sure is totally invested night to night right now, Dallas. So I think at plus 110, they're worth a shot. My one concern, too, is obviously you have to give the goalie edge here to Dallas. Ottinger's going to start for them, and it's going to be Korpisalo for Boston, and you're never quite sure what you're going to get here from him. But I'll go Bruins plus 110. I'll get in a little bit on the draw. It is East versus West here. We did see the draw cash with the Stars Flyers on Sunday, so the draw could get there as well. I'm going to take over 6 as well. I mean, it is with these two teams. It's been a higher scoring series history, 4 straight overs. I think Dallas's offense with Mikko back now, it's got a little more punch to it. Boston's actually trended over lately, 4-1-1 in their last 6 to the over. I could see maybe this one having a few goals in it as well. So a little Boston plus 110, little draw, and over 6 for me is where I'm going with Stars and Bruins. Maddie, what do you think here? Dallas, Boston.
Yeah, I think all great points. I kind of go back and forth. I don't want to bet against Boston at home, especially not with them sitting at plus 110. But at the same time, you've got the Jake Ottinger angle. He loves playing in Boston. It's his 300th regular season game. He went to college in Boston. So that's, worrisome if you're betting on Boston. But I agree with you. Dallas is also not, they're not backs against the wall. They know they need to continue to get points. So I could make a case for the draw here. I think if it's tied late, both teams kind of just hang back. First period over is something I really like in this game. It was one of my Beyond the Lines picks today. I think, given the Stars losing sort of a low and slow tight game on Sunday, I think first period over is worth a look. They're not immune to giving one up early, but I think they want a better start and maybe come out with some zip. And then I do have a bargain bin from this game that I'll mention a bit later.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm not getting through this game without mentioning it. We got to bet him again to score for Boston. Pavel Zacha, man, this guy is on an absolute heater right now. Absolutely tremendous run it's been for the last. He's had a good season, but it's especially been amazing the last couple months. That's really when he started to get on this crazy streak of scoring. Plus 310 at DraftKings for Pavel Zacha. You absolutely have to look in that direction. Once again, he scored in 3 straight games for this Boston Bruins team. We'll see if he can keep that rolling going into this game tonight. As far as you look at it on the Dallas side of the equation, as far as goal props tonight, you look at their lineup right now. I'm seeing Wyatt Johnston, Mikko Rantanen, Maverick Bourque still on that top line. Very interesting development here, and I don't know if this is going to be for sure or not, but they've recalled Cameron Hughes from the American Hockey League, from the Texas Stars. He's got 16 goals and 66 points down there in 63 games. So he's a more than point per game player at the American Hockey League level. And Michael Bunting and Nathan Bastian may not play tonight for Dallas. And they're saying that not only could Cameron Hughes make his NHL season debut tonight, but he could be on the top line from all indications. I'm seeing that right now. They could experiment. Yeah, go ahead.
I heard he'll be on the 4th line.
4th? Okay, so that's a little ambitious by RotoWire to put him up there on the top.
Yeah,
line.
I heard
I was a little skeptical too.
Huru and Blackwell will be playing with him. But I was going to mention, it's not my bargain bin, but I was probably going to take a couple dollar beer money, burrito money on him to score plus 800. He was drafted by Boston. He's played only 2 NHL games for the Boston Bruins. So, if he's going to get his first game as a Dallas Star, why not do it at TD Garden? So definitely worth a look in that 4th line, especially given where they're at in the standings. I think that 4th line gets plenty of ice time tonight. So I don't think it's it's not as easy to score a goal with that line as it would be like Wyatt and Rantanen, but I think it's still worth a look, plus 800. So Should be interesting to see how he plays. He's had a good season in the AHL.
Oh, really good. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yes, for more than a point per game, even in the AHL, that's good. That's warranting of someone that probably should be getting a look, at the with the parent club at the NHL level. And Cameron Hughes is going to get that look here tonight. All right, New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers. We've got New Jersey minus 120, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Devils, by the way, these two teams, this will be the third meeting of the season, all of them here in the month of March. And the two previous games, identical 6-3 final scores, both won by New Jersey against this New York Rangers team. That being said, Rangers, I like what I've seen. They're little, they've started to score goals. They've certainly done that the last few games against Florida and Chicago with these back-to-back home wins. I still lean New Jersey. I think, there's a little bit more firepower there. They've certainly owned the Rangers. They've won 5 of the last 6. They won 6-3 twice earlier this month, exact same final score. I mean, if you believe in that happening again, do you sprinkle on the 6-3 New Jersey correct score? I mean, it's not maybe the worst idea in the world to maybe think that. But I'll say this about the Rangers at home. We've seen them win. They haven't won back-to-back at home very often, but they've done that going into this game here tonight. We've talked about New Jersey, how they've been this over machine, largely because they're scoring goals, but they're allowing them as well. 7-2 overrun for the Devils in their last 9 games. We saw the 2 previous meetings, Devils, Rangers, go over the total. Both teams playing for exercise out of the playoffs, defense optional. So I'm on over 6 here for sure. Devils and Rangers, lean Devils, but I'm probably just going to stick to the total. I am impressed with what I've seen from the Rangers. They've had a little bit of these call-ups brought up and put a little energy into this team of late. Adam Sikora stands out as one of those players. He's now scored in back-to-back games, probably worth a player prop look. Ty Cartier's given them a little something. Lafreniere's been good since they traded Panarin. So I think this might be a little harder game for Jersey to win. I could see the Rangers scoring, and I certainly see the Devils scoring. So I'll just stick to the total here with Devils-Rangers over 6 in this one. Matt, what do you think here with New Jersey, New York Rangers?
Yeah, I popped in on this one at over 5.5, minus 125 yesterday. So
wow, it was 5.5 at one point. Jeez, I missed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I definitely locked in
Great
at that. Again, 2 teams playing for exercise. Both teams kind of trending to overs individually. Both teams, you look at guys at this point in the year, maybe trying to get goal scoring bonuses, point bonuses. New York at a time was a team I was very afraid of overs when they were at home, but things have changed in that regard. So I could go either way on sides. I think obviously the value's on New York, but the Devils have had some nice, easy wins as of recent. So I wouldn't be shocked. But I think we see goals back and forth. I could see this being, a 4-3, 5-3 with an empty net type game, one way or the other. So over 5.5, that'll be my only play.
Yeah, I think that definitely, rather than, like I said, I lean New Jersey, but I think the sides or the total's just the better look. Yeah, Adam Sikora for the Rangers, back-to-back games with a goal for him. He's certainly given them a little bit of energy, a little bit of an offensive uptick as well. I would say for New Jersey, Jesper Bratt, Connor Brown scored last game, and he's now scored in a couple in the last 5. We know Jack Hughes has absolutely terrorized the New York Rangers over the years. So, and Aaron's onto that with, he has just really, really done significant damage against the Rangers. It could even be one of these nights where you go for the over 1.5 goals on Jack Hughes. That's how much success he's had in the past against the Rangers. So that's definitely something worthy of consideration here in this one tonight. All right, we move along to, and this is basically your quintessential playoff game in March. 2 teams needing the points, Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Penguins. Detroit minus 115, road favorites, 6.5 the total. What a win for Pittsburgh last night, down 3-1 to the Isles. They rip off 7 unanswered goals, rather, and win 8-3 over the New York Islanders. Now they're on this back-to-back here against the Detroit Red Wings. Todd McClellan kind of got after his team for a poor performance, obviously, Saturday night against Philadelphia, although they almost miraculously came back in the third, down 4-0. They got it to 4-3 before the Philadelphia Flyers put it away into the empty net. That being said, just wasn't good enough. For a good 2.5 periods, that just was not good enough from the Detroit Red Wings. And the fact that Todd McClellan's been talking about we still need to extract competitiveness and playing hard and bringing that will at this stage of the season is a bit concerning. But I do kind of like how this spot sets up for the Red Wings. I do. They have a tough home loss against Philly. Remember the last time they had those 2 home losses at the Little Caesars Arena, the Pizza Box. They lost to Boston, and they lost to that depleted Ottawa Senators team that was playing on a back-to-back, missing a ton of defensemen. They lost that game 3-2. Everything was just, doom and gloom for the Red Wings after those 2 home losses to Boston and Ottawa. But then they go on the road, get away from the noise a little bit, play against a red-hot Buffalo Sabres team, and they go into Buffalo and they beat them 5-2. And getting on the road kind of was a good thing for Detroit. Maybe that's going to be the case here after that Philly game on Saturday night. Maybe getting on the road is going to inspire this team, get them dialed in again, focused, play harder, play tougher, play with more will. That's what Todd McClellan's been preaching for his team the last couple of games. Maybe they're soft, maybe they don't have it. And I'm starting to think that that is the case because this is multiple years of the Detroit Red Wings being right there late March into April with a chance to make the playoffs and not able to get in. So maybe this is just in their DNA, kind of like we've been bitching about with Toronto all these years in the playoffs. They just don't have it in them to push themselves to that point, to be at their best at this time of year. But I kind of do think this sets up well for them. You got the Penguins off that big win last night. Penguins haven't been good at stringing wins together lately. They haven't won 2 in a row since they beat Utah and Colorado back-to-back on that road trip in the middle of March. Since then, after the Colorado win, they dropped a game to Carolina. After a win against the Winnipeg Jets, they dropped another game to Carolina. They beat Ottawa in a shootout. They dropped the next game against Dallas. They're coming in here on a back-to-back. I think I kind of like Detroit here. I do. Now, I'm probably going to keep the smallest bet to the full game money line, -115. I think I like the Detroit Red Wings early, a little bit more. Maybe to get the first goal, first period. I'm interested in the Red Wings, maybe a little first period money line as well. I definitely think it's a good situational setup for Detroit. And, let's be honest, Pittsburgh's still not a great defensive team. Skinner is going to be a net on the back-to-back. He has not been very good of late. John Gibson, you have to give him a goaltending advantage here in the matchup against Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go Detroit full game money line, but I'm going to go a little bit bigger on the first period looks for the Red Wings. The first goal, first period, the first period money line here as well. And if that team total is the 3, we'd have to go with for the Red Wings here in this game against Pittsburgh. I was hoping for a cheap enough 2.5. You're not getting it. It's over 3 -130. So I'll probably wait to bet a live team total on Detroit. And of course, I'm going to come back to the well with over 6.5 with the Red Wings. You have to. I mean, this is just one of the great over streaks going right now in the NHL. 12-1 to the over for the Pittsburgh Penguins now in their last 13 games after last night. So we're riding that sucker until it stops cashing at this point. There you go. Matt, what do you think here in this one, Detroit and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I got in on the over at 6, -125. That was one that stuck out to me last night when I was going through the card. Now that it's up to 6.5, I think I might throw a small play on the first period and full game 5.5 as well. I like the full total more, but I think with 2 teams, looking to have a good game, Pittsburgh coming off that high scoring game last night, I think I'll take a small shot with the first period over and tag on over 5.5. But yeah, sides wise, it's a coin flip for me. I think Detroit needs some redemption in this game, but I don't know that we'll get that. Pittsburgh coming off a huge win, maybe there's some letdown there. I don't know. I think sides wise, I'm just going to stay off it. So just overs for me.
That's a good one from Jonathan. Penn's Red Wings, second period over 7.5. Get what we got last night against the with the Penguins and Islanders game. That was an insane second period, no question. But I just think for Detroit, it sets up nicely. If that was and Sidney Crosby came back last night too in that win against the Islanders. I mean, the Penguins are probably a little bit better form right now, but at the same time, I think, Detroit went to Buffalo and beat the Sabres. We know they can rally the troops and put a good game together. So yeah, I bet it. Not only can you interest me in that energized, I am interested. I already bet the thing. Elmer Soderblom for Detroit to score, upwards of plus 1,000. He scored last night against the New York Islanders and a former member of the Detroit Red Wings. So it's the former player angle as well, former team angle here with Elmer Soderblom tonight, former Red Wing, now with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I do like that goal prop for Elmer Soderblom here for Pittsburgh tonight. We'll see if he's in the lineup again, but Avery Hayes scored. I like the energy he's brought. Raquel's really stepped up of late. 3 of the last 5 games he's scored for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's worth noting. I think on the Detroit side, Emmett Finney with Larkin and Raymond, going to go back to the well once again with that value that we're getting from him to find the back of the net, playing with, obviously, the captain, Dylan Larkin, and Lucas Raymond as well. All right, Ottawa, Florida. Ottawa minus 190, road favorites, 6 the total in this game. For the Senators, this is paramount tonight. Florida is a decimated mess, and they made the announcement, Paul Maurice did earlier today, they've basically shut down a slew of players for the season. Reinhart shut down for the year. Marchand shut down for the year. Anton Lundell shut down for the year. I think Evan Rodriguez has been shut down for the year. Of course, we know Barkov's not going to see any ice this year. I think Balinskis as well, Mikula, both of those guys, you're not going to see them play another game this year. So it's a mash unit here for this Florida Panthers team right now. I'm going to go Ottawa first goal, first period. I'm going to go Ottawa first period puck line -0.5 here in this game. Now, the mistake I made with the Tampa game is I didn't go first period with Ottawa, and Ottawa came out and they jumped on Tampa Bay Saturday afternoon, but unfortunately they couldn't sustain it for 60 minutes. It is still a decimated blue line for Ottawa. I think they get one player back, but I think it's only Lassie Thompson that's back tonight for them. So it's one of the guys that got called up. Yeah, Lassie Thompson. I mean, there is still no Jake Sanderson. He's not ready to return yet. Thomas Chabot's still not back for a while. Dennis Gilbert's still out. And, of course, Nick Jensen's on IR. So that's the concern, right? There's still a lot of these injuries on the blue line. Maybe Florida takes advantage of it. But I think Ottawa jumps on Florida, or they got to come out flying here. This is now an Ottawa team that is off that Tampa loss where they had the 2-0 lead. They couldn't hold it. And, of course, if you remember as well with the Sens, the game before that was the 4-3 loss in a shootout to Pittsburgh. So that's back-to-back losses for them. Florida's lost 3 in a row. One thing, too, this is the risk of taking this is the fact that Ottawa's blue line is beat up right now. And maybe because of that, Florida's able to find the back of the net in this game. But the fact remains that Florida, in each of their last 6 losses, they haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of those losses. And they do have Linus Ullmark tonight, when I have no idea why James Reimer started in net. I mean, apparently what Travis Green says is and he needed a rest. He told me he needed a rest. Needed a rest, man. Your season's on the line. You're the #1 goalie. If that's true, I'm a little bit disappointed in Linus Ullmark. This is the time of the year where, you know what, fatigue, whatever, throw it to one side. You're trying to make the playoffs, dude. Get the fuck in there and play and start. You're the #1 goaltender. You're better than James Reimer. Play. That's all there is to it. Play. Get in there. Show that you want to make the postseason. I don't want to hear this nonsense from Travis Green post-game after Tampa Bay talking about why was Reimer in when you're not playing a back-to-back. Oh, because Linus told me he needed a little bit of a blow. What blow? What blow do you need? You're trying to get into the playoffs right now. You're the best goalie you've got. Play. Come on. You had freaking months and weeks away from the team earlier this year for your mental health struggles, and I am sympathetic to that. But come on, you're trying to make the playoffs here. Let's go. Get in there. It's not time to rest. It's not time to take a day off. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, to me, that was absurd hearing that. I mean, you're trying to make the playoffs, and your #1 goalie says, no, you know what? I'm not feeling it today. I'm not playing. Come on. It's ridiculous. He is playing today. Let's hope the rest does him good, that he didn't play, since last week against Pittsburgh, that he's rested, re-energized, refueled, whatever, all that nonsense that apparently he needed on Saturday. that hopefully now he's going to be able to play his best. But I'll go with Ottawa first goal, first period. Ottawa first period puck line. I'll also go Ottawa team total here over 3. I'll go the 3, just for a little security. You could go 3.5 at the plus price, but I'll go with the over 3 here, which is around minus 135. And I'm tempted to go with Florida team total under 2.5 here, minus 108. That's why I brought it up, that each of Florida's last 6 losses, they've scored 2 or fewer. I'm tempted to go with that Florida team total under. Keep in mind, as much as the blue line's depleted, Ottawa's a great shot suppression team. Allmark is capable. And Florida right now, I could see them struggling to find the back of the net if Ottawa controls the flow, which they've done a lot lately, and I have a feeling they'll do it tonight. And Tarasov, by the way, I believe is starting for Florida, and he's been very shaky of late for the Panthers in between the pipes. So put it all together, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be just, evening it up across that slew of bets here. Ottawa first goal, first period. Ottawa first period puck line is, let me just give you the price on that. -0.5 plus 150 is the best price out there with that. The team total over for Ottawa, and maybe a little dabble in the Florida team total under 2.5. Because again, 6 straight Florida losses. Each of their last 6 losses, Florida, they've scored 2 or less. Matt, what do you think here? Ottawa, Florida.
It's a pass for me. It's the only full pass on the card, but yeah, nothing for me in this one.
No doubt. I think it's a beautiful setup for Ottawa. Like if they shit the bed and lose, I'll say, well, there goes that thought. But I think you couldn't ask for a better year. 2 back-to-back losses. You've been off since Saturday, so you've got your rest. And do you know how rare it is this season right now at this point in the season to have 2 full days between games? Like for Ottawa to have Sunday and Monday off before this game tonight, they should come out flying. And if not, shame on them. But yeah, I like the first period looks here with Ottawa, even more than the full game in this one. As far as props here for Ottawa, Florida, not really a whole lot to add. I would maybe look toward, Dylan Cousins has been good lately for the Ottawa Senators. Maybe you go in that direction. I wouldn't talk anyone out of Fogle. We've mentioned him, a couple of times recently. For Florida, AJ Greer is playing tonight. His suspension's over, so he'll be back in the lineup for the Panthers. He's up on the second line. Sam Miskevich, Kuhlman, Lusterinen, and Greer are the second line. So probably in theory is some value with those players as far as props are concerned here for this game tonight. All right, next up as we continue along here, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 170 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I'm just going to rely on series history here, over 6.5 with these two teams. It's crazy how it's 8-1, I think, to the over with these two teams head-to-head. I guess my one concern with that over is the Dobish has been lights out, and that's why I'm also on Montreal. Montreal plus 150. Give me it. Give me this Montreal team right now, plus 150. Absolutely. I don't hesitate. Tampa Bay, there's not really, tons of urgency. They beat Ottawa. I mean, they're keeping pace right now with the Buffalo Sabres for first. Now, we'll see if Kucherov's back. John Cooper left the door open for him to be returning tonight from that illness that he's been dealing with. Game time decision. But this is too much value to pass up on Montreal. I cashed a ticket with Montreal and Carolina on Sunday. Vasilevsky, you're right. That first goal he gave up. Now, they won. They came back and they won against Ottawa. But that first goal he gave up real early in that game against Ottawa was not great. So from that standpoint, over 6.5 for me for sure. Probably we'll look at a live first period over, but we'll wait for that price to get a little bit better. And I'm on Montreal split here. Dog and team total over for Montreal. And plus 150, plus a little on the team total over as well in this one. Matt, what do you think here? Montreal, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I jumped on over 6 in this one. It was like minus 120 earlier today, so I know it's moved. You can definitely take over 6.5. I think Caesars has over 6.5 at plus 100, which is, some good value. I think we'd no problem get to 7, but just for, because I saw the 6, I took it. But yeah, that's it for me. I agree with you. I think Montreal is worth a shot here. Just with the big card, I think I'm just going to take the total and hope series history continues. Yeah,
the last 4 meetings, by the way, Tampa Bay is 3-1 against Montreal, but Montreal won one of them, and the other three were the Tampa 3 wins at home against Montreal were all 1-goal games, and 2 of them went to overtime or a shootout. So Montreal has actually given Tampa a tough game, usually every time they've played them lately here at Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay. So I'm going to actually sprinkle on that draw, seeing what I'm seeing here, that we've actually seen 2 of the last 3 head-to-head meetings, Tampa Bay and Montreal, in this building go past regulation. So the draw could get there here in this game as well with Montreal and Tampa Bay. The last time they met in this building, it was 5-4 Lightning in a shootout back on December the 28th. So there you go. Over, Montreal money line, team total over, split, and the draw. Got it? Good. All right. As far as props go for Montreal and Tampa Bay tonight, Gensel has scored in 4 straight. Brandon Hagel scored in 2 straight. Cole Caulfield in 2 straight. Corey Perry I'm going to roll with tonight. He scored last game. He's played everywhere. So Corey Perry, we're interested there. We'll have to see if Kucherov comes back here for Tampa Bay. And if he doesn't, like I said, Corey Perry might be up the lineup if Kucherov's a no-go once again. Keep that in mind. And then, like I said, for Montreal, I'm looking at Oliver Kapanen, Demidov, and Newhook. That's a line that I think's got a little value. And I'll throw another one out there for Montreal as well. We're going to see Bull Duke has had a struggle this year. I did not expect Zach Bull Duke to have this kind of an offensive struggle this season, but he did score a couple of games ago, and maybe he gets going a little bit for Montreal. So it might give him a little shot as far as goal prop. All right, next up, Islanders, Sabres. What we will do is we'll go through this game, Matt and I, and then we'll go through the rest of the card with Matt after this, and because he's got to get rolling at the top of the hour, and then we'll get a bargain bin and best bet from Matty Robb at the end. But Islanders and Sabres, Buffalo minus 200. Total here 6 in this game. Islander embarrassment for sure, the way that game went off the rails for them last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So do they come out storming here tonight? It is back-to-back. Rest advantage for Buffalo. They haven't played since Saturday afternoon. They beat Seattle at home on Saturday. I'm kind of mildly interested in Islanders first period and or first goal first period, just because of how bad that game went for them last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, that they come out, just really with a strong start, coming off a performance like that. I don't know if I trust them for 60 minutes to win the hockey game, but it is worth mentioning here with this Buffalo team. Just off the top of my head, and I'm going to verify this right now, but off the top of my head, they've started slow lately. Yeah, they gave up the first goal to Seattle in the first period in their last game. They gave up the first goal to Detroit the game before that as well. And I believe as well they gave up the first goal to Boston. Buffalo's been giving up the first goal lately. Seattle game, Detroit game, Boston game. Sabres have been giving up the first goal. So, yeah, that seals the deal for me. I'll certainly have that on my card. New York Islanders first goal, first period here in this game tonight. I like, after just the shell shock and the just how poorly that game just went south for them, second and third period against Pittsburgh last night. That first period, those first period looks for the Islanders make a ton of sense for me, especially that first goal, first period. So that's probably what I'll be targeting more than anything. I don't feel strong about the total in this game because I could see the Islanders aren't going to want to have another game like that where it's just up and down the ice and no defense. They're going to want to tighten things up here in this game tonight. We don't know who's in net yet for the Islanders. Sorokin got pulled last night. This was probably going to be a David Riddick start, but now do you give Sorokin a chance at redemption if you're Patrick Waugh tonight? Very interesting, Matt, that it's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen here for Buffalo, because Lindy Ruff has been going back and forth all season between him and Alex Lyon. All season, just interchanging those two goalies. And Lyon's been a little wobbly the last time or two, and now Lindy is changing things up and actually giving UPL a second straight start, which hasn't happened very often. So we'll see how he fares here. But I like the first period looks. I'm not strong on anything full game, but I'm probably going to get involved with Islanders either for maybe both of them, first period money line and that first goal, first period here tonight. Matt, what are you liking here, Islanders, Sabres?
Yeah, so the way I'm going to approach this, because I don't know, Buffalo's hasn't played since Saturday. I feel like they'll be fresh. Yep. They've obviously been a good team all year. So I think I'm going to take a small shot I'm going to kind of split up my bet and take Buffalo puck line plus 130. And then the other half of my bet will be reserved for if the Islanders score the first goal, then I'll live bet Buffalo money line. So, that way, if Buffalo comes out and scores the first goal, I think they cover the puck line here. If they give up the first goal, then I just, expect them to kind of come back and win this one. And then I'm going to jump on a Doan anytime point prop plus 130. Don't have a bargain bin today on Doan, but given that I'm on the show and I lean Buffalo in this one, I'm going to throw a little shot to see if he can get a point, either a goal or assist tonight.
Couple props quickly. Peyton Krebs, top line, and he scored last game for Buffalo. I am interested. You got to look toward Braden Shen right now. For the New York Islanders, he's now scored in back-to-back games. Rasmus Dahlin has scored in back-to-back games. You can get both of them over plus 400 to score a goal. Heineman, Zucker has stepped up. I think he might be worth a shot as well as far as a goal prop is concerned. So those are a couple of the goal props I'm looking at here for Islanders Sabres. All right, so we will whip through the rest of the card here with Matt, and then we'll get his bargain bin special and best bet on the way out. Flyers and Capitals, Washington minus 130, home favorites, 5.5 the total. I'll go more in depth on this, but right now I'm looking at lean under because I think it's going to be one of these low-scoring battles. It's two teams that, are winning with defense, not offense lately. Especially if it's Vladar and Thompson, your starting goaltenders here in this game tonight. And it is indeed Vladar and Thompson, so it should be low scoring. I'm on dog and draw, though. Flyers plus 110. It's Caps off a road trip. I don't like that for Washington. Flyers are playing good hockey right now, so lean Flyers and draw here in this one. Matt, what do you think here, Flyers Caps?
Yeah, this is my one draw play of the night. I think these two teams, I think this will be kind of a boring game to watch. It was going to be a pass game for me, but all things considered, with both teams, I think it's a draw candidate for me, which is rare.
Yeah, exactly. You usually leave the draw bets to Alex and I, Matty, but he's getting in on this one here with the Flyers. And yes, I am interested in props involving a certain debutant Flyer in this game tonight. And obviously, I'm talking about Porter Martone. We'll get to that more when I go back over this game after Matt departs us. All right, next up, we've got Carolina Columbus. Carolina minus 130 road favorites. Total here 6.5. Matt, what do you got here?
I kind of lean Columbus here. I don't know if I'm going to take it or not, but just with where Carolina's at in the standings, I feel like Columbus has a little more urgency in this one. They had the tough loss over the weekend against Boston after being up, so I'd expect them to come out with a strong game. I mean, Carolina's a good team, so I wouldn't be shocked if they win. But I will be on same game parlay 1.5, 5.5, and then I'm going to take a small shot. And sorry, that's plus 123. The 1.5, 5.5 in this one. And then I'm going to take a small shot with Mason Marchment, 2 points, plus 525. He's back on the top line. He's playing on the first power play unit. He has 2 points in 2 of his last 5 games, but those are the only games he has points in. So when he does get a point, he seems to get 2. So I'm going to take a shot with Marchment, 2 points, plus 525.
All right, Winnipeg, Chicago. Winnipeg minus 150 road favorites, 6 the total in this game. Here's another team, the Winnipeg Jets, that just when you think they're out of it, they keep on hanging around. And all these teams that are hanging around, like Winnipeg, like San Jose, like Seattle, it's all because Nashville's been losing the last few. They've lost 3 in a row, and it's kept these teams hanging around. Winnipeg's only 3 points back of Nashville for that second wild card spot. So, I mean, certainly lots of motivation on the Jets side, but I'm not interested at minus 150 on the road. You can maybe convince me to bet them live if they're trailing at a plus price, but I'm not going to take them at this price. This is probably a pass for me. Matt, what do you think? Winnipeg, Chicago.
Yeah, given the Winnipeg angle, still alive. Chicago, we've mentioned it. I think we talked about it last week. They're one of those teams that's still going to bring you their effort. They got some young, feisty guys. They put up a couple goals here and there. So this is an over bifecta game for me. First period over, and then I got in over 5.5 at minus 125.
All right, last game, Seattle. This is a good one. Seattle and Edmonton, because Seattle is battling for that final wild card spot because of Nashville tripping over themselves. Seattle's only 2 points back of Nashville for that second wild card. Seattle's got 2 games in hand on Nashville as well. So big opportunity, but Edmonton's starting to heat up. They are now just 4 points back of Anaheim for first in the Pacific. So this is a game that should be important to the Oilers here as well. Edmonton minus 180 home favorites, 6.5 the total. I like the draw first and foremost in this game because there's a lot of draw history here. As far as I think that's going to be one of these games where it's tight. These are two teams in different races right now. I think Seattle could be good enough to put up a battle here in this game. Seattle's gone past regulation in 3 straight games, so I definitely like the draw. Here's an interesting little series history fact. These two teams, the last 5 times in Edmonton, Edmonton's won all 5 games, and they've scored 4+ goals in all 5 games. All 5 games where the Oilers have hosted the Kraken, they've scored at least 4. So maybe Oilers team total over 3.5. I am kind of interested in that. Matt, what do you think here, Seattle, Edmonton?
Just the same game parlay in this one. I think we get 2 goals in the first. Seattle's been trending well to first period overs. And then I think we get to 5.5 in the game, just given both teams trying to score some goals.
Yeah. Grant likes Seattle as the dog. I want to take them, but I don't fully trust them to win. I think they'll be competitive in the game. I think they could push it to overtime. I like the draw, but I don't know if I fully trust Seattle to win the game tonight in Edmonton. We'll see, though. All right, great stuff. All right, Matt, bargain bin special of the night. You have had a great run on the show about the last month with these. What do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, I'll be pretty quick. I've got 2 tonight. One of them is going to be in that Detroit-Pittsburgh game. I expect goals from both teams. Emmett Finney, anytime goal. He's playing on the top line, plus 425. I think he pockets one tonight. And then the other one I mentioned will be coming from the Dallas Stars-Boston game. Guy that played his college in the Boston area. He's, moving up and down the lineup. Given the injuries, I think he gets a few shifts in this game, maybe some power play. Justin Ritzkovian, anytime goal, plus 500. He had a goal and an assist.
Ritz.
He had a goal and an assist last time out against Boston. I'm sure he'll have some college buddies and friends in the crowd tonight at TD Garden. So give me Justin Ritzkovian, anytime goal, plus 500.
All right, great stuff. And we wrap it up with Matt before he heads on out with best bets. Best bet for this Tuesday card. Matt, what do you got here for your best bet?
Yeah, best bet, keeping it simple. It's a play I like. 2 teams playing for exercise with a low over. 2 teams trending to over. So give me New Jersey, New York, over 5.5 minus 125. That's going to be my best bet for tonight's Tuesday, March 31st card.
There you go. I like it. 2 teams out of the playoffs, the overs, the high-scoring games. We like those angles this time of year. Matt going with it for his best bet for this Tuesday. Matt, great stuff as always. We'll see you on Thursday in a couple days once again.
Sounds good. Later, guys. Have a good night betting.
There you go. Matty Rob, the one and only. All right. On we go. I always have to remember, where the hell did I leave off here with the card the last time? We were done with Islanders Sabres. Yes. Philadelphia, Washington. Washington minus 130 home favorites, 5.5 the total. Flyers plus 110. Draw for sure. Dog and draw here for me. I don't really bet unders, but I kind of think this is going to be an under, a lower scoring game. 2 goalies in really good form right now. Logan Thompson and Dan Vladar both playing at a pretty high level, a playoff style game. Philly's kind of been, we saw the Philly-Dallas game, 2-1. That's kind of what Philly's looking for right now at this point of the season. So we'll see if we get a low-scoring affair. It is worth noting as well, these teams have played, it looks like 3 times already this year. Flyers have won 2 of the 3, and 2 of the 3 have gone under. Actually, all 3 have gone under, but the first game was 4-2. The total was 6.5. You're only getting 5.5 here with the total. So the first game had 6 goals, but the last 2 games had 4 goals and 5 total goals, and both stayed under. It is 3-0 to the under, but that first meeting between the 2 teams this year, it was a 6.5 total, not a 5.5. But I do think it's a lower scoring game. But I like the Flyers and I like the draw here in this. It's hard not to like Flyer draws right now. I mean, this Flyers team, as far as overtime's concerned, 5 of their last 9 games have gone past regulation. Washington, 3 of their last 7 have gone past regulation as well. So Flyers and draw for me in this one. As far as props, yes, we are indeed going to invest in Porter Martone for the Philadelphia Flyers in his NHL debut tonight. He grew up a Flyer fan. They're throwing him right into the deep end of the water, if you will. The deep waters, top line, or actually top six. I think he's going to play with Konechny and Dvorak, is what I'm seeing here for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. But more importantly, he's also going to play on the power play, the top power play unit for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. And so let me see if I can find this. I posted this or reposted this on Twitter. I also put it in our group chat that we have. It's worth showing it. It's a great picture. He grew up a Flyer fan, Porter Martone. And this is a photo probably going back, probably it's got to be 10 or 15 years at least. There it is. It's basically with Wayne Simmons. There we go. With Wayne Simmons, who is a Philadelphia Flyer obviously at the time of that picture, with a very young Porter Martone taking a selfie with him. He's got the Flyer hat on, a young Porter Martone, and now here's Porter Martone making his Flyers debut tonight against the Washington Capitals. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool when you see that. Living the dream, 100%. Beautiful thing. Great photo. And like I said, and that's legit that he is a Flyer fan growing up. So that's pretty cool to see. And it'll be fun to watch his NHL debut here tonight, no question, for the Flyers. Any other props besides Martone? Goal prop for Martone, obviously. You can go power play point, and I'm not, I don't bet a ton of power play point props. But Martone on that top unit, there's going to be value. I'm seeing plus 500 at BetMGM for his power play point, plus 400 at Bet Rivers for him to score a goal. Just his point prop is plus 120 in some spots. So, no doubt there's some good value here in his debut. This is a guy that had a pretty good season at Michigan State in the college ranks. So that's worth a shot. Noah Cates, we've talked about Noah Cates a lot for Philadelphia. We'll see if he can maybe find the back of the net. He's been pretty consistent for them. Here's a couple for Washington. Beauvillier has scored in back-to-back games. Justin Sordiff is a guy that's been starting to chip in offensively for the Capitals as well. A little bit under the radar, but certainly a good price in the plus 450 range for him to find the back of the net. So there's a couple of goal props that certainly have my interest here in this one. All right, Carolina, Columbus. Carolina minus 130, road favorite, 6.5 the total. Columbus, this is the tricky part with Columbus is we're starting to see some of the Rick Bowness magic wear off. It's almost like now that they're the hunted as opposed to the hunter, because they're a team right now in a wild card spot, holding on to that second spot right now at 88 points, but just 2 points ahead of three teams chasing them, Ottawa, Detroit, and Philadelphia. They're getting a little tight again, Columbus. They lost to San Jose on Saturday, 3-0 lead against Boston on Sunday. Somehow you let it slip through your fingers and you lose in a shootout to the Bruins. Pressure's ratcheting up for Columbus. I don't love the way they've been handling it all of a sudden, the last couple of games. Rick Bowness has been talking about fatigue setting in and just the mistakes when you're tired that they've been making. But now they've finally added, I wouldn't say it's much time off because they played a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, but, you have a day off at least. Now, Matthew Olivier, he got injured. I think he got injured in that fight with Kastelik, but he got injured during that Boston game. He's out, it looks like, for a couple of weeks. Damon Severson on the blue line is out. Voronkov out as well. So some injuries are starting to show here for the Blue Jackets. Jet Greaves will be in net for the Blue Jackets. That's a very interesting development because we've seen Rick Bowness go really with the platoon back and forth, Merzlikins to Greaves, and now he's giving Jet Greaves his second straight start here. Carolina with Brandon Bussey. I could only back the Jackets here. And in fact, I think I still might at plus 110. They beat Carolina the last time they played Carolina in this building, and it wasn't even close. They won going away convincingly, 5-1 over this Carolina Hurricanes team. And I think it was Bussey and Greaves, the same goalie matchup in that one. Yes, it was. They've beaten Carolina 4 straight times here at Nationwide Arena. 5-1, 4-3 in a shootout, 5-4 in a shootout, 6-3. They've dominated the Hurricanes every time the Hurricanes have made this visit here to Nationwide Arena. And you cannot compare where the urgency level is at for a game like this for these two teams. Carolina's cruising, rolling toward first in the Metro. Nobody's putting much pressure on them. They're going to win this division. They are. It's just a matter of when they clinch. They're still 8 points up on Pittsburgh, 9 points up on the Islanders. None of those teams are catching Carolina. Carolina's not playing with that urgency right now that Columbus has to. So just from an urgency standpoint, there better damn sure be more urgency for the Blue Jackets here tonight than the Hurricanes. And they have done well hosting Carolina over the years. So, yes, they've been on shaky ground here. They've lost 3 straight. They look like they've been getting a little tight now that they're in a playoff position. It's funny. All that work to get into a playoff position, and now that since they finally got into a wild card spot, they've been looking tight as a drum again, Columbus. It's hard to explain, but that's what we've seen from them. They've lost 3 in a row. I'm going to take them at this price. I would not be able to have a very enjoyable night if I know that Columbus were to win this game and I didn't take them as a home dog. With such an important 2 points at stake when they've owned Carolina in this building as well. So I'm going to commit to taking Columbus here plus 110 in this game. And one thing that's interesting too is in these 4 straight home wins for the Blue Jackets against the Hurricanes, they've scored 6-5, 4 and 5. So maybe I should be looking at team total over for this Jackets team here as well. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put it all on the money line. I'm going to split with team total here for the Blue Jackets in this game. I remember taking them the last time they played Carolina, and it was very recently, a couple weeks ago, March 17th. I'm going to trust in this team. I'm going to trust in Bonus. I'm going to trust in this team can rise up. Carolina has not playing like phenomenal hockey. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. Beat Pittsburgh, lose to St. Louis, beat Tampa, lose to Columbus, beat Pittsburgh again, beat Toronto, beat Pittsburgh again. 3 of those wins against Pittsburgh, beat New Jersey, lose obviously to Montreal 3-1 the other night. We've talked about how Bussy has not been nearly as sharp post-Olympic break. If Columbus pressure gets to them and they lose tonight, okay, I'll say well done, Carolina, and admit being wrong. But like I said, I like the price. I think Columbus comes to play. They bring it. They've dominated this team in this building. 4 straight wins against Carolina here at Nationwide Arena. The price is good enough. Home dog, plus 110. I'm going to trust in Columbus here, plus 110 here tonight. We'll split it with the team total as well. Because, again, in all 4 wins at home against Carolina, they've scored at least 4 goals. We'll go over 3 at plus 102 with that Blue Jacket team total. As far as props go for this game, Marchment, I know Matty Robb mentioned him, Charlie Coyle. Boone Jenner I have a feeling Boone Jenner is going to score tonight. He scored against Boston. He took a horrible penalty late in that game against Boston. Horrible. He's got to know better than that. You're the captain. You got to have a better lead by example situation than that. Taking a really, really ill-timed, needless penalty late in that game. I wouldn't be shocked if he maybe steps up a little bit here tonight for the Blue Jackets here. It's going to be interesting to see as far as the shakeup in the Kent Johnson too. This is a guy that has been an enigma this year. Definitely has not had the season people thought he would. He's back in the lineup because Olivier's out. Rick Bowness has decided Kent Johnson's going to go back in. I know he's down on the 4th line, it looks like, with Lundestrom and Miles Wood, but going to dabble maybe a little bit here in Kent Johnson. KJ to find the back of the net here for Columbus. As far as Carolina goes, I'd go back to the well with Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal had been picking it up offensively of late. You're getting a pretty good price, plus 400. Nikolai Ehlers, too. Both of those guys, they have scored in 3 of the last 5 games entering this one. So that could be worth a shot here as well as far as a couple of Carolina goal props of interest. All right, on we go. We've got Winnipeg and Chicago. Winnipeg minus 150 road favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under. I mentioned with Matt, didn't have much on this game. It's a pass for me. I haven't bet this game pregame yet. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, Winnipeg is still very much alive because of Nashville's struggles and stumbles. Nashville, with their 3-game losing streak, it's opened the door for a team like Winnipeg. Winnipeg trailing Nashville by 3 points and still has a game in hand over the Nashville Predators as well. So it's a really big game here tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. But must win doesn't equal will win. We know that. Chicago's been competitive. Chicago will have Spencer Knight in between the pipes. But, obviously I don't want to go against the will of Winnipeg. I don't want to lay minus 150 either. Total could go either way. I mean, we are going to see a Spencer Knight, Connor Hellebuck matchup. Those are two goalies that are capable of leading to an under. But at the same time, I've said this about Chicago for a while. I think Winnipeg's going to want a low-scoring game. Chicago, I think, has a more offensive lineup, and we've seen them cash 4 straight overs entering tonight. So that's why I'm conflicted on the total. I don't want to take Chicago against a motivated Winnipeg team. I don't want to lay this much, though, minus 150 with Winnipeg on the road. So that's why I'm off it. That's why I'm off it as far as pregame. Prop-wise, people buying into the Jonathan Toews back in Chicago. Could it be his final game in Chicago? It very well could. I mean, do we know if Jonathan Toews is coming back next season? I don't know. I don't think that's a given at this point in time. So very interesting to see how this goes. Like I said, Jonathan, I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea of maybe looking at a Jonathan Toews prop here tonight back in Chicago. Could be. I'm not saying it will be. Could be his last game, potentially, in this building. I'm going to go to the well, certainly, with Nick Lardis. Nick Lardis has scored in 3 of the last 5 games for the Chicago Blackhawks. I think if I were to look at Winnipeg goal props tonight, don't really overcomplicate it. Velarde's picked it up. We've even seen Perfetti pick it up of late. I follow with Scheifele and Connor. There's probably still some value because he's still up there on the top line. But like I said, definitely worth a look. A couple of those props I've mentioned here for Winnipeg, Chicago. And for me personally, it's going to be more of a prop game. All right, last game, Seattle-Edmonton. Edmonton minus 180, home favorite, 6.5 the total. I already mentioned it with Matt. I like this draw quite a bit. 3 straight Seattle Kraken games have gone past regulation. These two teams are in their own wars, in their own battles right now. Seattle's just trying to get into the second wild card. Edmonton's trying to track down Anaheim for first in the Pacific Division. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think Edmonton's defense or goaltending night to night is good enough to blow teams out. Even during this 3-game win streak, Utah 5-2, but it was pretty close, and they got a couple empty net goals late. That was 3-2 in the third period. Then the empty net goals padded the margin. But the Vegas game was a struggle. They won, but it took overtime to beat Vegas. 4-2 against Anaheim, but again, that's a 1-goal game, and then the Oilers put it away with the empty net. So they've been flirting with overtime, even in their last 3 wins, Edmonton. I think we have a chance for OT here tonight. Again, they're in their own battles, these two teams. My one concern for Seattle is, I was looking at this big, tall price here with Seattle in the plus 160 range, but Edmonton has really, really owned them in this building at Rogers Place. We're talking 5 straight times the Oilers have hosted the Kraken. Oilers are 5-0, and all 5 of those games they've scored at least 4 against Seattle in this building. So. Yeah, I mean, who's in net here tonight? I assume it's Ingram again. Yeah, it is Connor Ingram for Edmonton. They don't want any part of putting Tristan Jarry right now in with the division still. There's at least a chance that Edmonton could overtake Anaheim for the division. It looks like, too, for the Kraken, day-to-day injuries for Schwartz and Wright. Winterton's still out. Frederick out on the Edmonton side. Of course, Draisaitl out indefinitely. I think it'll be Joey Decord for Seattle in net, but we have not seen that confirmed as of yet. One thing to note about Joey Decord is he hasn't started each of the last 2 games. They gave both of those games to Grubauer. They beat Tampa 4-3. Grubauer started. They rewarded Grubauer for that win against Tampa Bay, put him in the game against Buffalo, and that game they ended up losing, obviously, in a shootout 3-2. But Grubauer got both of the last 2 games for Seattle. It could be back to Joey Decord tonight. Wouldn't surprise me. But Decord gave up 4 goals in each of his last 2 starts against, I think, Florida was one of them as well. So, a little unsteady from him in the last 2 outings. Yeah, Florida, where they had that crazy game where they came back to tie it but lost in the shootout 5-4. That was on one of our betcasts. That game frustrated me because I really liked Seattle in that spot. So Decord was a little shaky that night, and then he gave up the 4 goals in the loss to Columbus before that. So I actually think Edmonton team total over. I might move on that. I mean, it's really, really, it stands out like a sore thumb that Edmonton's won 5 straight here against Seattle in Edmonton, and they've scored at least 4 goals in all 5 wins. And yet the team total is a very, very cheap, if you will, 3.5 here with the Oilers. Over 3.5, minus 112 at Pinnacle, minus 116 at FanDuel. I got to take that number and that price, especially given the series history. 5 straight Edmonton wins hosting Seattle, and all 5 scored minimum 4 goals. So I'm probably going to add that as well. The lot of props I like in this game. It's a good prop game. Give me Bobby McMahon. He scored in 3 straight games for Seattle. Got to keep going with it at plus 260. Matt Savoy for Edmonton. He's played very good for them. 3 straight games with a goal for him as well. Entering tonight, great value with Matt Savoy. Really been impressed with what I've seen. Plus 290 at DraftKings and BetMGM. Looks like the best price for him to find the back of the net. Hyman scored in back-to-back games. Jack Roslovic might be worth a shot in that north of plus 300 range as well with what we have seen from him here in recent games for the Edmonton Oilers. And maybe Podkolzin as well, because he's still getting that ample opportunity with McDavid. I mean, McDavid's being flanked by Savoy and Podkolzin. So right away, looking at Savoy and Podkolzin for props makes all the sense in the world. At least in my mind, it does. On the Seattle side, Jordan Eberle, in addition to McMahon, I would say Jordan Eberle, the former Oiler, of course, back in Edmonton. That he might be worth a look here as far as goal prop tonight. And I'm going to give a shot to Berkeley Catton. Berkeley Catton, the 20-year-old, looks like he might be on the top line for this game, at least based on what I'm seeing with Matty Beniers and Jordan Eberle. So Berkeley Catton could be someone to consider here as well in this Kraken and Oilers game. Let me see what the price is on the just the point prop for him is plus 140. The goal prop is plus 450 on Berkeley Catton. And if he plays on the top line, that's certainly going to be a good value there, no question. And Jonathan, backing up the Bobby McMahon support that we all have. A lot of us in the chat I see like Bobby McMahon. A lot of people in the chat liking Bobby McMahon goal props tonight as well. McMahon with 6 goals in 6 games against Edmonton. So great stat there. Even without that stat, you got to bet him right now. He's red hot. He has clearly fit in nicely. Bobby McMahon for this Seattle team. Great stuff. Great show. Thanks to Matty Robb earlier for joining me. Don't worry about Alex. He's good. I saw some people asking about Alex. He's just resting his foot. He's feeling a little sore. Didn't get the greatest of sleeps last night. So he'll be back tomorrow on the Wednesday show. And looking forward to that. Check out wizardsportspicks.com. Daily premium picks available on the website. Long-term subscription passes available as well. I'm currently still number 1 in the NHL and college basketball on the website. And again, NHL, NBA on a daily basis as the regular season winds down. MLB now underway. Tons going on. Final 4 this weekend in college basketball. So check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And, of course, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. And I made a post on the Patreon page today. We've got a Patreon-exclusive live betcast coming your way later this week, okay? And we're going to announce it officially the day of, as we always do, because we like to surprise our Patreon members a little bit. But we will have a Patreon exclusive live betcast later this week. And then we'll have another one exclusive to Patreon the final week of the NHL regular season, the week of April 13th. So stay tuned for that. 2 live betcasts, Patreon exclusive before the end of the regular season. One of them comes your way later this week. Now's the time to sign up so you don't miss out on being part of that. The 50% or $50 off Dub Club All Sports subscription discount with yours truly is still available. It's only an offer that is available to Patreon members on the Patreon page. You can still take advantage of that. So check all of that out and more. $10 per month. Your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Get on board at patreon.com/iceguys. And of course, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. There it is from Alex. 30% off for the next 3 days at the Ice Guys store. So take advantage of that offer and get yourself some Ice Guys gear and merch. 30% off for the next 3 days at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, it is time for Bargain Bin Special of the night. We got certainly Matt with his Bargain Bin Specials earlier in the show. We'll see what I'm going to rock with here for Bargain Bin Special. I'm going to go with two tonight, two Bargain Bin Specials for this Tuesday night slate. They're both going to come from the earlier games. I have to take it at this price. Again, Pavel Zacha, Boston. I'm going back to the well. He's been amazing, absolutely sensational. He is a threat to score every night. You're still getting bargain bin worthy prices, plus 310 at DraftKings. We're going to see if we can strike it rich once again with Pavel Zacha, Boston Bruins, plus 310. That will be my first bargain bin special of the night for this slate. My second bargain bin special of the night, I'm feeling it. He was a Flyer growing up, Flyer fan growing up. NHL debut tonight. He's going to get all the ice time and opportunity in the world from Rick Tocchet. Top 6 forward role. Number 1 power play unit. Let's see if we can get Porter Martone to score his first NHL goal in his first NHL game. I'm going to take it. Porter Martone, the Philadelphia Flyer fan as a kid growing up, to get one in his NHL debut. Porter Martone, Philadelphia, plus 400. For my second bargain bin special of the night. Honorable mention to Adam Sikora. Almost went with him for a bargain bin, New York Rangers. But officially, Pavel Zacha, Boston, plus 310. Porter Martone in his Philadelphia Flyers debut, plus 400 for my bargain bin specials for this Tuesday NHL slate. All right, best bet for this Tuesday card. I had to think about this one a little bit more as far as best bet. There wasn't one that flew off the page necessarily, but I'm going to go with this one. Give me the Ottawa Senators first period puck line against Florida. It's time to jump on this team. You've been off since Saturday. Come out like you mean business. Florida is decimated. They've also lost 3 in a row. Come out here and take the lead early. And then you can do whatever you want, because the one thing we saw from Ottawa is they had this kind of start against Tampa Bay, but they couldn't sustain it Saturday. But they had a great first period against the Lightning. I think they're going to have a great first period here tonight, and I think they'll lead going into the first intermission. Ottawa Senators, -0.5, plus 150, first period puck line against Florida for my best bet here for this Tuesday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Looking forward to this Tuesday slate. By the way, I think Alex is posting his best bet. I think it's probably his best bet, right? Sends Florida, first period over. There you go. That's Alex's best bet. Ottawa, Florida, first period over. 1.5 tonight in that one. All right, hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. And like I said, excited about this Tuesday card. Excited about a Patreon exclusive live betcast coming your way later this week. So make sure you get on board and sign up. We're almost at 400 Patreon members. So make sure you get on board and help us get to that milestone of 400 Patreon Ice Guys members. That's a wrap. Great show as always. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Matty Robinson, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we are back tomorrow on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.